Hello, Cancer. Hi, Cancer. Welcome to Karma on Deck. I'm Karma. This is your weekly reading for December 4th. Christmas is coming. I can hardly believe Christmas is on its way already. All right, let's take a look and see what kind of energy is going on for you guys. So the first thing that I picked up for Cancer was when I tapped in a little bit before I shuffled the cards or got anything ready was that Cancer's really got their eye on the ball right now, and they're focusing on what their ideal is. And so for you, it kind of is like, I got to figure out if this is the thing that I really want or if I can make it happen, and etc. Let's making sure I see if I have sound. Good, I have sound. I had a little issue with that yesterday. All right, here we go, Cancer. Four of Wands is the first thing that comes up for you, and that's your foundation, like I was just saying. So the first card that comes up is the Four of Wands, and what this looks like is it's got this obelisk in the middle, and these four pillars. These are the things that strengthen your life, the things that you pay attention to, and the things that build your structure around you. We have the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords means victory. Now, what I mean by victory is that card's a little literal definition. I remember this deck when I got it. It said, you've won the war. Now you must yet win the peace. And now if you think about that, that's pretty profound. Like, just because you got the divorce decree doesn't mean that you don't have to like redesign your whole life after an event like that, or changing jobs. You got the job, and now you have to go in and establish leadership, and you've got to go in and pick out your benefits package and do some training. It's like there's still yet more work to do. So with the King of Swords, you've won, you've got the thing, but you've got to put some roots down with this. Things are moving much quicker for you now. Nine of Wands has to do with foundation and moving forward within that structure. And we have the Empress card. Now the Empress card is very protective. So right now you've got like these arms around the things you want to protect, and you're keeping your eye on things and not letting anyone else come in and stir the pot, so to speak. Only one cook in the kitchen today, Cancer says. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which is time. So divine timing is in play, and we have the Hangman. Now, the thing about the Hangman, and this was the subject that was coming up for us yesterday with Gemini and who were we talking to yesterday? Gemini and Taurus. Yeah, they were getting this card for the Hangman, and I was having these discussions. Hi, Rory. Having these discussions about like the pauses, like paying attention to the pauses and how we shouldn't be trying to microwave our life. We can't shove everything in and go, beep, hurry. You can't make an apple tree bloom or produce fruit today. You have to let it go through all the phases, right? And so sometimes we get very frustrated in the pauses. And I'll admit, there are a lot of things that are going on right now that are making these pauses stretch and really look so, really stop it, Rory. We really start to get frustrated with these pauses. But anyways, so what I do see for you is not only that, but an emotional unrest. You've got this Knight of Cups, which is you having like these emotions that are just really rich and really full and really coming out like fully developed. Whoop, I'm pissed, right? Whoop, I'm happy. And, there's this Knight of Cups. So you're having a really hard time navigating emotions, and they're just really bubbly right now. I'm also seeing that you're ready to put your boundaries up. You're ready to really strike to what it is that you say you want. That's indicated by the Five of Swords. Now, the Five of Swords means conflict. It doesn't necessarily always mean conflict. Remember, the F word can be used in a lot of ways too. It just depends on your emphasis. But for this fighting thing here, this has to do with boundaries and barriers. So you setting this up so that you're like, all right, I'm going to put my barriers up to protect this, because you've got this High Priestess here, which is all about like protecting your house and home. It's putting the fence up, guys. Like it's a difference between being defensive and and putting up defenses. Making sure that you are clear on where your boundaries are. Big difference, because these aren't all involved with the Tower card. You're not in reaction. You're clearly going forward, right? So what was the other analogy I was going to use? Judgment and judgmental. Okay, same thing. Like using good judgment and being judgmental asshole are two different things, right? So I see you just like being very cautious with all of this. You have the Strength card. You don't want to repeat past lessons. You don't want to be a fool. You want to make sure that you are clear on what it is you say you want. But you have the Queen of Cups, and then you also have the Knight of Cups. And if you look at court cards as personalities within, Knight, Page, Queen, King. Okay. So a knight is somebody that would be around the teenage area of 15, unlike a 12-year-old who's totally new and doesn't know what's going on. You've got a really good idea of how things work. And so you're behaving immature at times, but then you have these beautiful moments of mastery where you're coming from kindness. So you just keep, these emotions are just so bubbly and big and rolling that they kind of fluctuate back and forth. And again, you know, you're trying out new ways of doing things. And then I'm seeing the Ace of Coins, like on the other side of this, you hope that by changing these practices and being very clear on what it is that you want, that you're hoping that you'll have different results. And I do see that this is beautiful for you. So yes, it's not illusion. So here's the thing, is you're worried about these illusions, but instead you're trying to paint a clear picture, law of attraction, paint what you want. But at the same token, you don't want to draw them too big or broad and be like, well, that was a bunch of crap. I don't have a mansion in a week. There's timing to these things, but you're trying to find a good pragmatic center for those two. And something about Cancer hasn't really been speaking to what they want very often. We do have the Nine of Swords, and this is my ghost right here. So this is like feeling like a ghost, feeling like you're not being heard. And that's one of two things. It's a double-edged sword. Are you not speaking to what you want at all? Because that often can make us feel like our voice isn't being heard. Like, why should I bother? Nobody's listening anyway. But are you really being clear? Are you being insistent on speaking to that? Let me pull some cards for you from Mystic Dreamer so we can get at your Cancer moon reading. This is also for your relationships and how they're playing out. Ooh, these cards are stubborn. Didn't want to shuffle. All right. If you want to, I would be privileged if you would be my subscriber on YouTube. I would love your support there. So please come find me there. You can see the picture-in-picture readings. So I don't have to hold them up in your face. Book your one-on-one, karmaondeck.com. Three of Pentacles. Research, overwhelming information, somebody. All right, so we have the Three of Pentacles. This means a computer or feeling watched. However, this I'm getting is either you're feeling watched, either someone stalking you on social media, or all up on your bumper and you're feeling exposed. So that could be also a portion of why you're feeling emotional. It's just judgment seems to be a part of the conversation for you. Either that or you're doing the same. You're kind of creeping up on and looking and seeing what people are doing. You got some nostalgia. You're not satisfied with what's in front of you. You want things to go back a little bit to how they used to be. We also have some bad habits. For those of you that don't know the Devil card, that could be anything from substances to depression. We have the King of Pentacles here. Sneaky too. You're keeping a lot of your information close to the chest and you don't want anybody to know what's going on with you ever. Like right now you're in this mode of like, I'd rather be by myself than anybody know what's going on with me. I'm either embarrassed or you just don't want anybody to know that you're trying to figure something out, and you feel that as weakness, right? I'm also picking up balance for you. So you're just looking for a balance. You don't want these pendulum swings of emotion anymore. And you're just looking for balance. So the answer that you've come up with is just to retreat a little bit. Now that's good for short periods of time, because not having other people's input, their opinion, even just commentary, like even not talking about what's going on with me, just listening to people's running commentary sometimes can be very distraction to like my solitude, like taking me out of that zen for a moment and, you know, just being like, what is happening? So I also see decisions need to be made. Ace of Swords, Temperance, which is balance. Emotionally, you're sitting on these decisions. You're sitting on them and you're beginning to lose a little hope, which is interesting because I would suggest you go look at my post about physiology. For those of you on Facebook who saw my craziness this morning, I woke up this morning and I felt this overwhelming fog of sadness. I'm not a sad person. I do have some grief going on over losing a loved one a few weeks ago. However, I'm not generally a sad person, but I could feel this coming in like a fog and this heaviness. I literally opened my window this morning, and I love the rain, so it has a different effect on me than depression, but I literally opened my curtain and I was like, is it raining out? Like, what is this heavy feeling? And I made a decision. It took me a lot longer to get ready. I mean, my God, it's 3 o'clock. There's not as much going on as I usually get done by now. But I literally had to get up and turn music on and dance and play with the dog and get him wound up and shake up the physiology because of this weight. So if you're feeling that depression creeping in, first of all, stop with the analysis. Stop with the drawing in data. Like at this point, we've got enough evidence for what it is we know we need to do. And our spirit screams loud enough, right? So with this frustration and I don't want to call it depression because we're not going to claim that, guys. Okay, Cancer, like we're not claiming, depression. We're going to wash our hands of that. I'm going to do it for you with salt. We're going to let that go. Hopeless is the lack of hope. So what is it you have to do to bring hope back in? Because that's what this card is all about, is hope. Okay. You're afraid to believe in the dream because you're not sure how you can make it happen, yet you know that that's the way to focus on what you need to bring to your life. So you've got this little thing going on. Hope a little bit more. Hope just a little bit more. Plant that seed, even the faith of a mustard seed, okay? That's all it takes is one little tiny atom of hope. Image, like Queen of Wands image, like making sure that nobody sees you in your weakness, Cancer. Let's pull a card for you from Divination of the Ancients and see what your message is from the divine. Thank you for hanging out with me, guys. Let me know where you are in the world, how you feel like your reading went. And like I said, you can find me on karmaondeck.com and on YouTube. Here we go. Those of you over here know this already. Cosmos contributing. Nature, Ogam. So unplug from the matrix, Cancer. Peekaboo! Okay. So Ogam means nature. So I would recommend that you get your feet in the sand, find some water, maybe go hiking, even if you can sit on your porch at night or break open all your windows so that you can feel a little bit of that shifting energy, clear things out, burn a little sage, go for a hike if you can. So Ogam has to do with nature. Like get yourself, I mean, even if that's potpourri or baking, something that's earthy. Thank you for hanging out with me, guys. I will catch you on the flip side. You know, I always say, come from love.